This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
Trump's Liberation Day has arrived. What does it mean to you? What did you just win? And what did you just lose? Those are the questions we're going to discuss in today's video. So make sure you're sticking around to the very end, because there's going to be a chance for you to comment here and your input as a community, because this community isn't just here in the United States, it spans the entire globe. I'm looking forward to hearing from my friends in Asia, my friends in Europe, those in jolly old England, and beyond. So stay tuned and leave your comments below. So it's official. Liberation Day has arrived. The tariffs go into effect today, April 5th, 2025. The president launched one of his biggest tariff rollouts in U.S. history, and his supporters, they are fired up. From Ohio factory workers to billionaire backers, the coalition has helped bring Trump back in 2024. They just scored a massive win. But the question is, what exactly did they win? And maybe more importantly, who's going to pay for it? This is the economic report card, and today we're grading Liberation Day and what it means for you and your money. So what exactly is Liberation Day anyway? Lots of viewers are asking me that question. So let's start with what actually happened. Facts first, politics second. Trump's announcement highlights some very, very important initiatives when it comes to tariffs and trade throughout the world. There's a 10% universal tariff on all things imported into the United States. What does that mean? Well, it's not just stopping there. Check it out. A 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles brought into the United States. And once again, whether you drive a Honda, a Toyota, a BMW, or a Mercedes, this is where things might start getting a little bit sticky with these tariffs. Beyond that, though, check it out. There are specific country tariffs, including 34% on China. Wow, that's a lot. But hold on, 20% on the EU, 24% on Japan, and 26% on India. Wow, they're getting clobbered too. Trump called it Liberation Day, a reset for American workers and industry. So, let's dig into this a little bit. What exactly are Trump supporters celebrating anyway with Liberation Day? And to be fair, this is exactly what many Trump voters wanted. This is the reason why they followed, they've supported him in places like, hey, Steubenville, Ohio, places like Sheboygan, Wisconsin. They have been looking for this opportunity to bring manufacturing back. Well, that day is arriving, and I'm curious to see where these plants are being built. Are they going to come back up to the Midwest? Are they going to come to those areas that were completely wiped out when steel and manufacturing left? Or are these plants going to pop up in other places outside of the Rust Belt, the Midwest, etc.? That remains to be seen. But we do know that manufacturing jobs are coming back. Tariffs make U.S. goods more competitive, incentivizes companies to reshore those jobs. For instance, if you were in a place like Germany and you were thinking about building a plant to bring things into the United States, all of a sudden, you're not building that plant in Brazil, you're not building that plant in Mexico, you're not building that plant in Canada. That's right. You're building that plant in the good old US of A. Incentivizes companies to reshore jobs back here in this country. So, states like Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania are seeing early factory expansions. We'll see, and we'll keep you up to date on those expansions, because I'm curious if those states are really going to see a lot of expansions, or whether those factories are going to be built other places. That remains to be seen. So, what about those billionaire backers of Trump? They're an interesting lot to follow as well. For instance, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, Cantor Fitzgerald CEO, former CEO, this is the start of a generational realignment, says Howard Lutnick. Real estate and gold investors are piling in all of a sudden. So, Main Street America wants fairness. We know that for a fact, so many believe that the global trade system has been rigged against American workers, and I can't say they're completely wrong. Liberation Day equals emotional and economic justice for many of these people that have supported Trump in 2016 and again in the 2024 election cycles. Well, let's talk about the other part of this, which is what could Liberation Day really cost us, and maybe equally as important, to bring a little bit of balance in, why does it matter? Of course, this isn't all victory laps and flag waving. There is a real price tag here. So price increases are coming, make no doubt about it. Cars, electronics, furniture, food, they're all going to rise. I mean, take that to the bank, literally. But beyond that, inflation risks are back on the table, and that's kind of a scary thought. The Fed, yes, the Federal Reserve, is now caught between rate hikes and holding the line. How will they move their game forward? Will they lower rates? Will they have to raise them because the economy gets too hot all over again? That's a great question to ask. And while our viewers are from all over the planet, I'm curious, how do our dear friends in Europe react? How do our friends in Asia react? Africa and beyond? I'm very curious to hearing your comments below as well, because you're part of this group, you're part of this community, and folks, your opinion matters very much. We will get global retaliation back here against the United States tariffs. There's no question about it. While Trump proclaims that these tariffs are in response to unfair tariffs that are already leveled on the United States, I'm super curious, what are the next moves that China will make, that the EU will make, that India will make, that Japan will make? Are they already preparing for counter tariffs against the United States? Economists warn that there's a potential of a $1.4 trillion hit to the entire global GDP, and that's no joke. One analyst called it a great trade reboot, but said it might feel like a recession before it feels like a renaissance. That's a thought to think about and to chew on for a while, because things didn't get this way overnight, and chances are they're not going to be fixed overnight. So, for Trumpers, there's one thing to take into consideration. The president delivered on a promise, and those promises are to bring manufacturing back to the United States. As a good global citizen, the United States must also be aware of the impact these tariffs are going to have on the rest of the planet, particularly our allies, particularly our dear friends in Europe and in Asia. At the end of the day, the United States always must be a good global citizen. So, here's what viewers should watch for moving forward. What can you track right now? Well, I would definitely keep gold and energy prices on your radar screen. Both have gone up quite a bit. On top of that, watch car dealerships over the next 3 months as we head into the summer months here in the United States. Foreign inventory may spike prices. What about Fed speeches? Chairman Powell and company are all on alert now. How might these tariffs affect the United States economy and beyond? And of course, if you're in the Midwest, let's check out some of this early hiring data. It could shift the entire narrative. And the sooner these factories are built, the sooner we'll see where these factories are built and if it revives the Midwest of the United States. So, the bottom line, Trump supporters may be celebrating today, but the rest of the country, we're just watching closely. The rest of the world, they're watching carefully as well, because this really does have the ripple effects right here in the United States, but they go everywhere. As the old saying goes, when America sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. Because one way or another, this is going to hit your wallet. So, what do you think? Is Liberation Day a turning point for the economy, or a time bomb with a flag wrapped around it? Drop a comment. This is the right move, or could this whole thing backfire? Does it backfire in the United States? Does it backfire in other places? I'm super curious to hear what your thoughts are. I read every comment and break down the trends in our next episode as well. Subscribe if you're serious about staying ahead of the economic curve. This is the economic report card, and class is officially dismissed. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, your comments, your likes, your subscribes are critically important. Help me feed this dog. And if you hit like and subscribe, I'm able to give him a biscuit. Have a great day.